Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the white they mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you
that's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
I think we. What's up, y'all? We need some new. I want a new picture for the intro thing, man. I don't know. I don't like my picture all that much. I feel like I got some better pictures I could use. You want to change yours too, Miracle?
Of course, I'm always down for a photo. Are we getting like a new photo shoot? Because I'm always
no.
down.
I'm just saying. I mean, all the pictures that I had, I feel like I have some better ones. And then it'd be cool to get one of those pictures of all of us together. You know what I'm saying? Like collective. You know what I'm saying? This week in white supremacy, the family, the team. You know what I'm saying? So welcome,
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Welcome to this week in white supremacy. I guess what was the purple nigga? Was that Donatello?
Yeah.
Is that who I am?
Donnie.
This is Jasiri X. I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. I'm joined by Miracle.
Hey, it's your girl, Miracle. One half of the Wonder Twins since we imagined today. We coordinated, the country to the culture. It's me, Miracle. What's
I like that.
The country to the culture. Okay. We got rhymes and bars.
You feel me?
Saeed, you're in a different area in the office. I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah, because the fucking fuse kept blowing, eh?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, welcome, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man.
Man like Saeed with the shades of waffle color Wonder Twin. I don't know how to behave.
And my brother, you got a different color light today. Never lose sight.
Oh, I do. Yeah. I got the little orange Johns. They keep changing on me. But I'm Treble NLS, never lose sight. One Hood's hippie. You already know.
You already know what it is. So yeah, man, it's a lot going on, like a lot of national conversations. Right now it seems like the world is kind of riveted on the Derek Chauvin trial. That was one thing people had to say over and over again. This wasn't the George Floyd trial. You all right, Farouk? You all right?
Well,
Boring you, brother? It's my
oh man, I need a nap.
You get your yawn on, brother. Excuse me, but
proceed. You may proceed.
You, brother.
Yes, you may proceed.
You're over it. But no. So I just wanted to get first reactions to the trial. It was obviously, and if folks aren't super tuned in, like we understand some folks just for your own like mental health, but it's not like I haven't been watching it live, but I did see clips. I saw the powerful clip of the other brother who was testifying. He was one of the witnesses to George Floyd's murder, and the Chauvin's defense attorney kept trying to get him to say he was angry. And that's that, not only George Floyd being on trial, but now this black man who's a witness is on trial, you know what I'm saying, for the fact that, you saying like he's, he was angry. I saw the EMT who was there, that was a prosecuting witness that also gave powerful testimony around what happened. There were child witnesses that couldn't be shown on TV because they were so young. And then today, one of the powerful moments was the the person who noticed that George Floyd had a counterfeit bill, really just saying how he felt guilty. I mean, I think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's somebody that's like working in the store, and like, your job is to point out like, okay, this person has a counterfeit bill. You're not thinking that this is actually going to lead to this man's death. You know what I'm saying? So I could only imagine, how he would feel in that moment. Just any initial reaction to the trial. I want to start with you, Miracle. Is there initial reaction to the trial? Is this, there was footage today that showed George Floyd in the store. It didn't look like he was high or, having some episode kind of like we know Chauvin's defense attorney will try to portray him. Should we have some type of hope that there might be, a verdict of guilty in this trial?
I mean, I think that people love to always hold out hope, and hope is sometimes the only thing we have. Um, if people want to hold out hope, they should do that. If they want to believe in the system, they should do that. But as we know, time and time again, this system is not going to give us justice. I don't think there's going to be a guilty trial. A guilty verdict. I will be quite shocked. And even if there's a guilty verdict, I don't think there's going to be significant time attached to it. You see the defense attorney keep trying to say, like, Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. It was the community. It was the people yelling. It was pre-existing conditions. It was all this stuff. And I think that if you were paying attention to when they were picking the jurors, there's a couple of Blue Lives Matter folk who were on the jury. And so I do not want people to think that this is so moving, this is so riveting. Obviously, there's going to be a guilty verdict when that's probably not going to be the case. I will be shocked. But again, you have to remember when they were picking the jury, there were multiple people who talked about how they had negative associations to Black Lives Matter, to how they believed that like Blue Lives Matter was a correct point of view, and they were pro-police. And so it's going to be a very difficult journey for the next like week and a half, 2 weeks. But I don't think that there'll be a guilty verdict.
Wow. Treble, did you have any initial reaction?
I did. My initial reaction was, this seems to be a pretty strong case against Chauvin, but then I had to kind of like quell that because it started to raise a little bit of excitement in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, he might actually get, but then, you know, the reality of what Miracles just laid out came to my mind. And I'm like, yeah, every time it seems like you have a strong case, they seem to never see it that way when it actually comes to court. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never get that justice that we've been asking for. We always have to it's like, what? That's exactly why we're still out here fighting for it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, kind of like you said, like people in Minneapolis initially turned up, because if we know that when something like this happens, that a cop is a police officer is tried and convicted and kicked off the force of serving police time, we're not turning up in the way we do. You know, we turning up because, and it wasn't only after they turned up in Minneapolis that those police officers were even arrested and indicted. And so it does make you think, you know, like, but I kind of feel the same way about you. Like you said, it's like, it seems so cut and dry. It seems, I mean, there's video of this man, and the prosecutor in his opening remarks actually said it was 9.5 minutes. I think they said like 31 times George Floyd said, "I can't breathe." You know what I'm saying? And so like, it seems like that should be enough, but you know, white supremacy, man, it always seems like it kind of bounces back in the end and like pulls out a victory. What do you think, Saeed?
I wasn't gonna watch it. I told myself I wasn't gonna watch it. I said it on here, like I was gonna try to insulate myself from that. You know, I thought George Zimmerman was cut and dry. I thought Michael Roswell was cut and dry.
Absolutely, me too.
You know, all these cases are cut and dry. Just, you know, I have no faith that there would be anything besides a not guilty verdict. But I would like to illustrate that, you know, there was a brother that I love from that area. His name was Prince Rogers Nelson, and he said that a revolution was going to come from Minneapolis in 1991. He showed it in a video called "My Name Is Prince," where he showed the city, you know, having a revolution, and there was a fire and all these other things. So niggas thought Prince was crazy in 1991 for that, and now look. So I think that, like, you know, all that aside, you know, it's white supremacy all weaved throughout the fabric of the Constitution and the justice system. So if you're looking for something, stop that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I didn't know that about Prince, and I didn't know that he did that. And I mean, I could only imagine if it's a not guilty verdict, that, you know, not only will Minneapolis turn up, it'll probably be, you know, places all over the country, you know, people angry, people upset at what could happen, you know what I'm saying? And then kind of like what Treble said, like we're we're also going to have to subject ourselves. And when I say subject ourselves, even if you don't watch, if you're on social media at all, I know you ain't really on social media no more. But if you're, me, Miracle, and Treble, if you're on social media, you're going to bump into clips of the trial. You're going to bump into comments. And so we know when we get to the defense side, it's going to be some wild accusations made about George Floyd. It's going to be probably some wild witnesses brought on. I don't know if any of the other cops are going to testify on his behalf, and it's going to make us really, really angry again. And so, man, I don't even know how to feel because just like you said, like history tells us it's going to be not guilty. It just got warm outside, and does this mean it's going to be a summer like last year? You know what I'm saying? Is it because we're talking about like right around maybe a month earlier than when everything jumped off last year?
And I was looking through my time hop and everything. This is 2 years to the day Nipsey got killed, and then 2 years ago we dealt with the Michael Roswell trial in Pittsburgh that seen the largest, the not guilty verdict, seen the largest protest ever in the history of the city. But like, being in that courtroom and hearing the things that they said about Antoine, and then being dashed out of that courtroom, like Uncle Phil did the Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and then also just kind of recounting like the George Zimmerman trial, like the things that the way they painted out Trayvon to be. It's like the end of the day, like black people get Thor, shut up. Black people get criminalized for our own death all the time, man. You get me? It's like, it's our fault for dying. And I remember you took this angle as like black people got to be the perfect victim. Right. You know what I mean? And George Floyd clearly was not the perfect victim because he's been criminalized for his death since it happened. So, and that's just where it is. While I'm not on social media, my brother texts me, he's like, yo, you watching this? I'm like, I can't escape it. I was like, I just been telling everybody I'm gonna have to deal with this shit on Wednesday. So that's when I kind of want to deal with it. And that's it.
Right. You got some, Miracle?
Yeah, I was also going to say it also plays into this thing about having these all white or mostly white juries. So even the situation that happened in St. Louis with the black cop, those white cops being acquitted, we have to, even being the perfect victim, right? A whole police officer was assaulted and still couldn't get justice. So even when you are quote unquote an angel and the perfect victim, you still don't get justice. You still don't get a conviction. And that's why, a lot of us like to be abolitionists and talk about transformative justice, because we understand this system is not built for us. The system will never recognize our humanity. We get the whole, it's a tragedy, not a crime. And we're supposed to keep on moving. And so I would just tell people, folks are already preparing to take to the streets again. Folks are already preparing for a whole another year of protest, just to take their time to work out, to build community. Because this trial is about, I don't even think we've seen the worst. And you saw how the defense attorney kept trying to say that you were angry, right? You were angry. Like, why you gotta call that man an angry black man? He's sitting there, probably subpoenaed, right? We all have a job to do, but we don't have to do these racialized stereotypes. And that is just a tactic that they have chosen to do. And it's going to get worse. And I think people just have to understand that, like, it's okay to turn the TV off. It's okay to watch something else, because this is a whole, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, right? But this is a whole system working to like stress black people out. 100%. So whether black bodies, our minds are tired, our bodies are tired, our emotions are spent, and then we have to still show up for each other. So just remind people to just take time for yourselves too.
Absolutely. No, I think you make a excellent point. Both of you are. And I mean, so definitely like, sending love and support to everybody, especially, George Floyd's family. But just again, it's like, you have to revisit that pain and hurt. All of those families that lost loved ones, like, Miss Michelle, who lost Antoine, or Ramir Talley's mother here. All of these families, even that have had, been victims of police brutality and police violence, have to relive even their families' death and trial and all that stuff all over again. And so just sending love to everybody. And it's really kind of like you said, when you talk about the system like working against us. I mean, you know, Miracle, you spend a lot of time in Georgia recently. I mean, here we are, you know, I don't want to say we partied this time. Well, yeah, some of us party. You know, when Biden and Harris won, you know, and we really turned up not because Biden and Harris won, but because Trump lost. You know, like it was funny to me to laugh at Trump and to laugh at like Trump's, you know, followers like MAGA folks and like Trump lost. And, you know, speaking of Nipsey bump, you know, fuck Donald Trump and all that. But now, you know, here comes the system of white supremacy. You know, and you know, these white folks in Georgia, it's like, you think we're gonna let you elect a black dude and a Jewish dude to the Senate? And so then we see now some of the worst voter suppression we've ever seen that was passed. What's the response? I mean, but it, you know, like, and that's the first one we seeing, like, even in Pennsylvania, they're talking about voter suppression, like all over the country. They want to pass like these restrictive laws basically in response to black people showing up to actually exercise our right to vote. How should we be responding to this? Miracle.
Lord. I don't know. It's just going to be a year. I think, first of all, we can't buy into the fact that the election needs even more security, because Governor Kemp just said, you know, these new rules are not about stopping fraud. It's about regulating how and when people can vote, right? So for those of you who are not aware, it's now illegal in Georgia to give people food and water for standing in line unless you are a poll worker. And if poll workers are giving people water and they can only give people water, no beverages, no food, who's going to be there monitoring the election, monitoring the drop boxes? We have to be proactive. We have to stop compromising. We have to fight back. Like, we passed the Voting Rights Act, you know, passed HR 1 in the U.S. Congress. We really have to be taking to the streets and fighting for our rights, but also showing up for our communities, because this system is not going to like kill itself. It's not going to go away quietly, and we have to have an inside and outside game. But these laws are popping up everywhere. There are over 250 bills dealing with the election right now, some to stop early voting, some to stop early registration. I personally believe we need to be fighting for automatic voter registration once you're 18 years old. And that'll be it. Like, make sure that as soon as people hit 18, they are automatically registered to vote. And for returning citizens, new citizens, automatic registration as well. As soon as you get those papers, as soon as you get sworn in, let people automatically be registered to vote. And all of this will be done. That's what I think we should be fighting for. The rest of the stuff is going to be ridiculous. It's a waste of billions of dollars, because all of this stuff is going to go to the Supreme Court, and we're literally going to be wasting billions of dollars that could go to housing folks, to feeding folks, to training folks, to giving people mental health resources, to helping homeless folks. We're waiting on it when we can really just let everybody vote and call it a day.
One question. I just have one more question before I come to you, Asai, for Miracle. You just had, you know, the Delta CEO come out today and denounce the bill. You know, because a lot of pressure, and I know, shout out to Black Voters Matter Fund, Cliff and Latasha, they were trying to put pressure on these corporations that donated to these Georgia lawmakers. So Coca-Cola just came out today and denounced the bill, but it was like afterwards, you know, it was after it passed. Do you have any hope in the fact that these corporations have come out and denounced it, or was that just kind of performative?
It's performative because the bill's the bill now. We needed you 2 weeks ago. Like it's like, oh my God, like, I'm telling you, today is Tuesday. He shouldn't have shot him, but he shot him on Saturday. So what's that going to do? You could have stopped it. You could have been like, nah. What they do is they play both sides. They give money to everyone because these corporations want to make sure that Georgia stays the right to work state. That Georgia does, like, you know, you don't have to give your employees benefits at certain levels unless they're full time. So that's why these corporations are playing things both sides, but you can't do that. Like, it's like, I could literally, all of us right now should be in, I should be in jail multiple misdemeanors because I gave people food and water. Like I need people to understand. Like we had in Georgia lines up to 10 hours.
Right.
And the way the bill is now is the last person in line 25 feet from the last person in line is restricted. So you cannot walk up, drop off snacks, nothing, none of that. It is a misdemeanor, right? And so I think people need to understand how bad it is. They also have limited the drop boxes, and they have said instead of the Secretary of State certifying the election, it's going to go county by county. Now, for those of you who, like me, just had no life and stayed up watching all these election counts come in, think about how horrible it's going to be to go county by county to figure out who won an election. It's just going to be a disaster, and it's ridiculous. So
I
here
think
we are.
I think they also said, I'm gonna come to Saeed, and then I'm gonna come back to you. But hold that Treble, that solution. I think they also said you can't vote on the weekend. I think that was another one.
There's only two weekends now.
Right.
You can vote. So like 2 Sundays, and it used to be a whole month before, and they keep changing things because they know most Black and brown people vote on the weekends because most Black and brown people are workers, gig workers, third shift workers, so they can't make that Tuesday vote, so they vote on the weekend. So, but here we are. But I know Saeed, you had a question.
It wasn't so much a question. It's just like, like you said, like all these processes are set in place to further convolute an already convoluted process, right? The system can't get out of its way. And we're talking about trainings. We're talking about all these things. We have to be mindful that one of the defenses, and I do know this, for Derek Chauvin was that he did what he was trained to do.
Right.
We're putting money into training to kill people, but not training, or we're not putting money and resources and valuing the electoral process to do what it's done. We've already shown that if you allow the people the opportunity, the resources, the ability to self-govern or at least exercise their constitutional right, they're going to do so orderly. However, people in power weren't complacent with the results. So they instead passed legislation to further impact them and prevent them from doing this, from making this shit work. So bring the camera back on me because I'm making a point. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we're here for anyway, innit? You know, you gotta show the money maker, you know. But the thing is, it's like, the thing is Georgia is setting the standard for a lot of these other states to follow suit. Then we're going to see Texas, we're going to see Arizona fall in, we're going to see Florida, we're going to see New Mexico, right? Yeah. And that's where, so by Georgia setting its precedent for voter suppression, it takes us back to the 1960s and prior with Jim Crow, right?
And it's like that thing, like it's like just go vote, and it's like, okay, we did that. And then it's like, now we're gonna make it so you can't just go vote.
Nigga, we dying for voting.
But I'm saying like that, like when we be out there protesting, they be like, why don't you show up and vote? Okay, we show up to vote. Now you want to restrict the voting. Like you want to make protests. You want to make protests in the crowd. Like what the hell are we supposed to do? What's the solution, Treble? Save us, man. Tell us the solution.
All right, listen, this is what you do, okay? The movie theaters have been training us for this for years now, okay? All right. What you do is you pull up to the polls, bag full of snacks, bro. Water, bring big snacks. Bring some lunch if you need to. Warm that shit up before you leave the crib. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you got some cold lunch, put it in like a little cooler. You and the homies bring a whole cooler to the John. You know, they got the coolers with the wheels, bro. They can't stop you from doing what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see if like we could just have like a food truck, like right as you pull in to wherever
niggas gonna turn that to a cookout. Niggas gonna turn the polls to a cookout.
Yo, before you go stand in line,
slide.
That's what I'm saying.
Herb. Frankie Beverly and Mays gonna be playing. Niggas gonna be voting. They're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Shuffle. Yeah. Move.
John said, we gonna be tailgate voting. Yeah, like before you get in line, get your burger, get your cold drink, get your fries, whatever. Now get in line. You know what I'm saying? Like we hopefully we'll turn it up. I do see, like, Nicola, we this is not really a question answer show. Like, we kind of have like a pre-production piece, you know what I'm saying? That we kind of go on. So, jump in. You can comment on some of the stuff we saying, and if we have time, we'll get to your question. Somebody asked a question, and it's like that's not necessarily what we on right now, but we'll get to it if we have time.
Someone said they didn't mean vote.
Oh, exactly. They didn't mean really vote. Oh yeah, we voted. And now you flipping the script, and it's interesting because, one of the things that also came out was, and that was to me a really powerful move was New York City ended qualified immunity for New York City police officers. So once again, I feel like this is your show, Miracle. Can you just give us a little breakdown of like qualified immunity? What does that mean? And like, what does ending qualified immunity mean for like regular folks?
I mean, I think first of all, we got to be honest and say none of this stuff will be happening in New York, but for the allegations that the governor is facing. And because of that, like all of this progressive stuff is coming through the pipeline that people have wanted for years. I think it's very important when we talk about, like why we're able to get a lot of this stuff done. Why people in New York are able to get stuff done. So qualified immunity is this legal protection that the courts created for officers that said basically if during the course of an officer's work, if they violated their rights or did something they weren't supposed to, as long as they could attach it to their job, then they could not be held personally responsible. So right now, if an officer behaves badly, they get sued. He personally does not get sued. The union gets sued. The city gets sued. The county gets sued. So an officer can rack up millions of dollars in lawsuits and doesn't have to pay a dime.
Yeah, don't have to come out of his pocket.
Also doesn't have to face charges. And so one of the automatic defenses are the officer beats the crap out of you, even in New York, rapes you and sexually assaults you, you can say, hey, this was part of my job. And so therefore it's like a get out of jail free card. And so what this bill does in New York is basically say, hey, no, not so much. If you act so egregiously that, this is not in line with what an officer is supposed to do, you can be held personally responsible, civilly and criminally, which is like very, very important because we here in, we've seen in Pittsburgh and other places, officers have been stomping folks out, stealing people's money, all types of stuff. And they're like, suck to suck, qualified.
Yeah, I mean, and what happens is like taxpayers like us, like we end up like fitting the bill because when the city of Pittsburgh says, we're going to settle with, Leon Ford, who was, unfairly pulled over, unfairly shot and victimized, like the city pays that money. Like the police officer doesn't have to pay, doesn't have to be punished, is still on the force. And so you have cities like Chicago that hundreds of $1 million a year go to like settling these lawsuits, and the police officer can just continue on getting promoted, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they never have to be held. Kind of like Chauvin had a history. Derek Chauvin himself, before we even got to George Floyd, he had a history of brutalizing folks. And if there was no qualified immunity, he might not be on the force by now, right? Or he would have known that if he puts his knee on George Floyd's neck, he's personally accountable. So we saw the city of Minneapolis give George Floyd's family millions of dollars, but Derek Chauvin didn't have to come out of his pocket, nor did those other officers. And so to me, it is powerful that this is happening because it does, maybe is this like, will this possibly stop an officer from brutalizing somebody?
I mean, think about, remember Abner Louima?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing, is it's very interesting, the wording of it legally, that duress can allow you to violate other people's civil liberties, and you can attach that to, that's a hazard of the job. At what point does sexually abusing a person with a foreign object become like
a part of the job?
Like,
and for those that don't know,
20 years ago,
Abner Louima was taken in the bathroom and basically like sexually assaulted, with a nightstick, in his rectum by police officers.
And the fact that qualified immunity, we have to be here in 2021. This happened in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
It took 2-3 decades for us to be able to arrive at this point, and only under a very fantastic set of circumstances that we even allowed to have this discussion right now.
And I want to I was going to say I want to come to trouble. You're 100% right. Not only that, they just updated the law in New York City that even allows you to look at a cop's disciplinary record. Like these police officers in New York City was brutalizing folks. You couldn't even get the information as to like what cop was doing what. That just recently came out, and folks found out that these cops was lying about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Treble?
Who's surprised at that?
No, but I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. People watch Law and Order and CSI, and I say that to say, like, we're doing this process called reimagining public safety, and I learned, bro, that I didn't know that 4 to 6% of police time is spent on violent crimes. 4% of the time is on violent crime. Like, I didn't know that.
It's not that much violence in the country.
But I didn't. You watch CSI and you think cops is on scene, you know, with their little brush, finding little evidence and saving lives. Like, this is the narrative. And so when you really find out, like, what are cops actually doing? They're not even prosecuting violent crimes. Like 2% of violent crimes actually get a conviction. Like, so when you actually look at the data, it's like, yo, like, I believe the hype. I was going to say, I guess Die Hard, he was a cop. You watch these super cop movies, Lethal Weapon and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that you believe the hype. You believe like cops are there to protect me from violence. And that's not even really what they spend their time on. You know what I'm saying?
It's called Cop-A-Ganda. It's like propaganda, but like propaganda. Yes. Because a lot of these TV shows, CSI, SVU, not only paint the police officers as good guys, they justify the violence. Like, I don't get why, like, Ice-T, sir, like,
Ice-T had Cop Killer. He had
Cop Killer, and you up here like
Ice-T trying to get a bag.
What do you say in New Jack City? What do you say in New Jack City? I want to kill you so bad, my dick's hard.
Yeah, like we don't gotta go there. But no, I'm saying you're right. It is. And then, you know, a lot of times, Miracle, they also hire police officers as consultants on those shows, but also to prevent like a police officer like from looking bad. You know what I'm saying? To like actually prevent, like, so you rarely see like corrupt police officers or brutal police officers in these shows. They're always the good guys.
Or it gets justified. They had a bad day. Like Stabler just saw, you know, the guy assaulting the other kid, like what was his daughter, and just went a little bit hard on him. Like I used to love SVU.
Can I say real quick before we come to trouble, like about SVU and about these propaganda shows? It's like, how many times at SVU? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna piggyback off what you saying. Though, was like, how many times have SVU cases on the show went wrong and they tore a family apart because they mishandled evidence, right? Like, they always do shit like this, where it's like improper policing. You never watched SVU, bro?
I don't watch Cop-A-Ganda, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Man, SVU used to be my shit. I used to love SVU, man. Love that shit.
It was, but they also justify it, right? They were tired, they were worn out, they stalked, you know, and then you end up rooting for the police officers, and you're like, wait a minute. And I'm very scared because they did say this upcoming season is going to be based off Black Lives Matter. I'm like, oh dear God, please no.
God, no.
It's just like,
oh, shit.
please, no. But
if I go on the show and like play an activist and get paid for it, can I still be an activist in real life, Miracle?
We're not starting this.
No, because we got Nissans, bro. We got new Nissans.
Listen,
we got new Nissans. You can't, bro. I'm eating swordfish. We got new Nissans. You can't do no shit like that, bro.
I just was wondering if does that make me?
You know what? If you want to be a capitalist, and I'm about to do this with you today. Y'all never have people coming up in my mentions. No, we are not. Listen.
So I'm sorry, Trouble.
Listen,
how do you feel
bro,
about qualified immunity, my brother?
It's like, when I look at the police, I look at the police like a gang, right? Because like I used to be part of the gang life, so it's like it's easier for me to connect it that way. Absolutely. When I look at the police as a gang, it's like, it's sad to say, but they're one of the they're one of those gangs in the world that has one of the most beautiful setups. The government loves them, media loves them, and then the media is trying to get people to love them. And then the defense attorneys go and talk to jurors who obviously love them in trials where they're, basically being the judge on a case that has nothing to do with them and their group of people. So they can't even it's like the courthouse kind of strategically picks people so that the cops don't get painted as a bad guy. So it's like they have kind of like qualified immunity is bullshit to me because they already have so many defenses in place. It's like, why do they need qualified immunity? You know what I'm saying?
Particularly if you act like you're always right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever it's some brutality thing, you're right. Like, well, if you're right, then let us investigate. You know what I'm saying? And let us see. And if you then you don't have to pay no money. You know what I'm saying? But we know that's not the case. I mean, look at the police brutality. I mean, look at police and domestic violence rates. I mean, they're off the chain. And then even so just to take it even further, here's how a NYPD officer, if you could pull this up, John, reacted to New York Council ending qualified immunity. This was the police officer's reaction.
I'm not surprised he looked the way he looked.
To the men
at all.
Women of the NYPD, don't do shit. They're coming after your homes, your pension, your salary, your condos, everything, including your cars. Wake up. Don't
including
do
your
shit.
cars.
Answer one job at a time. Fuck it. Let the city burn. White shirts, lead the way. Tell your men and women to sit on their hands. Detectives, sit on your cases. Don't do shit. God bless. Let the city realize they need you. You don't need them. Let the fucking city burn. Let them know you're more important than the city butcher council who never did a day in the street.
That was your bop?
Yes.
That was a bop, Miracle?
Yes.
You love that song?
Yes, because they do this all the time.
Yep.
The NYPD always tries to protest. You know what? They really be like activists and organizers, but they don't want to claim it. But they always be trying to strike and protest. And then crime doesn't go up. People stay out of jail. Mutual aid gets to work, and we get to show up for ourselves as a community. And then we see we don't need the police at all. So yes, please resist, stay home. White shirts do whatever white shirts. I don't know what that means. I heard those was like little coded language.
I think those are like the lieutenants.
No, white shirts. Yeah, white shirts to the officers.
The sergeants.
It's like the sergeants. Yeah, the captains.
But you're right. Yeah. I remember
Also, that's about my pay grade. But yes, just don't have them show up. I'm all for that. And the thing is, like, you have condos, you have pensions. Why? Because you put black and brown people in Rikers. Like, of course, you should be worried about being sued.
But this is the thing. But Miracle, if you're doing everything right, like you're always telling us there's no racism, there's no police brutality, you always do the job right. So if you go to work every day and you do your job right and you follow the rules of your job, there shouldn't be no issue.
Like
this is how like
right to me. So
yeah, if I in the process of doing my job harm somebody, they can sue me. So guess what? I try to show up and do my job properly and do my job in the right way. Like, so that's the thing. It's like if you're trained, you know how to do your job. Don't brutalize. But it is wild that he was talking about condos and multiple cars. Like, what are you in this to get paid?
Wait a minute.
You in this to like protect?
I mean, think about the 7-1 precinct, man. Like the 7-1 precinct set that precedent in the 80s. You know what I mean? Right. For police, for criminal.
I think you mean the 7-5, the 7-5,
or the 7-5. Yeah, the 7-5. The 7-5 did that shit. You know what I mean? But like, yo, really and truly, I've said this multiple times. Police should be held to a higher standard against the law. Like, police should be held to a higher standard. Like, if it's assault. If it's assault 1, that's a felony, right, then it needs to be held with prejudice against that officer because you had the training.
You had the training. You were supposed to know.
Right? You were supposed to know. You were supposed to know. So you should, and then also, and Miracle, please clarify this for me. With the ending of qualified immunity, does that mean that these niggas can finally be put into Gen Pop if they get convicted?
No, because they're still okay. So
Damn.
They still have the
You tell
classification.
I've been in jail, nigga. I've been safe.
No, because they still have the classification of a cop, so that they're still a sensitive person.
Protected.
You know,
still protected.
the good book says, you know, to much is given, much is required, right? And I believe, you know, that's as I remember, you know, I believe the same thing. If you are signing up to be a public servant, you are signing up to serve the people. You are signing up to be in service to the people, not to corporations, not to private property, to the people.
Not to your condos.
If your bread and butter is beating the crap out of folks, raping folks, stealing folks, harassing Black and brown folks as they try to go back and forth from work to school, you should really be having a moment where you're sitting down right now and being like, is this really worth it? Is this what I signed up to do? And if you're so pressed, how about you call in your folks? How about you say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't break people's bones this week. Maybe, you know, we should verify somebody's identity before we just go and slam them standing outside of a hotel room. Maybe before we break, you know, these basketball players' bones, maybe we should just like step back just for a moment. You know, maybe, you know, I'm an officer, like I don't know what they be thinking.
No, but and then the wild part, you know, the wild part with that miracle is the last time that the NYPD did that on some like the blue flu, or, you know, was like, we're not going to arrest anybody, crime actually went down dramatically. Like, that's the thing. Like it wasn't like it was some big increase in crime. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you're actually, that idea of like, sit on your hands, like, you know, when you look at the statistics, what are you actually doing? Most of the time, what are you doing? Policing Black and brown bodies. That's what you're doing. Harassing Black and brown people. That's what you do most of the time. So, yo, sit on your hands. Guess what? We don't have to. That'd be great. We don't have to see you. We don't have to interact with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to be harassed and brutalized by you. My quality of life goes all the way up. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought about something. So it's like, you know how it says we're all entitled to the right to a fair trial, right?
Yes.
It makes me think, so since when was a fair trial police officers issuing a death sentence before the court even sees you?
Bro, and that's what I'm saying. It ain't like, I would argue, Treble, that none of those really relate to Black and brown people. None of them.
Yeah, it's an impediment. It's really an impediment to justice when police officers are allowed to become executioners, because you're stripping away someone's constitutional ability to defend themselves in a court of their peers. Right.
Or like you said, and qualified immunity is just one thing. In Pittsburgh and places, when a police officer shoots somebody or commit a crime, they're not even required to give testimony on the spot. In some cases, not even at all. In LA, you had a sheriff kill a young brown brother, and he never did an interview about it. He never even had to say what happened that night. In Pittsburgh, you have 48 to 72 hours to go and eat and go to sleep and do whatever it is before you even have to show up to do an interview. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these things that kind of give these police officers this extra, line of protection, they all need to be removed, because like if you have the training and you're doing your job right, why would you why would you need 48 hours to tell us what just happened, when if I do a crime, I have to tell you right this minute. And the police will say what a reason it is. That's actually, right now, I can get you right when it happened. You have a better ability to recall. But then when it's an officer, it's a different set of rules and circumstances. And so I'm all for this movement to say, no, we need more fairness. We need more clarity around this. We actually need police to be the public servants that they say they are, not somebody that's never held accountable in any situation. Y'all brought this on yourselves to me. Like, by never being accountable, by never firing none of these brutalizing officers, you brought this on yourself.
It's funny because like a lot of these niggas that be like, Tomcat for the combat and everything like that, the moment that the training goes out the window or whatever, they resort to the guns, right? It just kind of reinforces stereotypes, and most of these cops got picked on in school, right? They got bullied. You know what I mean? These are the niggas. What I used to do when I was in the lunchroom terrorizing people, I used to take a ketchup packet and put it in my hand and walk past, smack you in the back of the neck with it, right?
Yeah,
and that's what I used to do.
I don't think they allow that in schools nowadays, brother.
But those are the niggas that
there's a zero tolerance policy.
I don't think they ever allowed that.
So that was somebody's origin story.
That was somebody's origin. But look, Yeah,
But
now,
let me say though,
because
but
of
that's
you
what,
smacking somebody with a ketchup packet, somebody in Canada is getting brutalized by some cop.
So listen,
you know what
but
I'm saying?
they
That was
start
your
these-
fault, brother.
It's my fault, but they start these police athletic leagues for these boxing programs and everything. It's always interesting. The first niggas that get eliminated in police athletic leagues are cops.
Well,
They never survive in no boxing tournaments. They already overstand the deal, so they get behind these badges and these guns, and they come back on the road and start fucking niggas up.
Well, it's also wild that the police also. It's interesting, like even are treated differently when police commit crimes. I mean, it was an ex-NYPD cop that ran up in the Capitol and did all types of crimes against other police officers that were simply doing their job trying to protect the Capitol. You know what I'm saying? And so like that is wild to see, like, oh, these are your NYPD brothers, but they also breaking the law. It's cops in Baton Rouge. They had to throw out 600 drug cases because these cops in Baton Rouge were actually committing crimes and breaking the law. So you see this happen all the time. And, just speaking about the Capitol riots, because there was, there's every other week, it seems like we get another update about the Capitol riots besides, either somebody being pointed out or somebody, we had the vacation to the Capitol riot, but so one of the things that happened is federal court was saying that, it was a guy that became known as the zip tie guy because the nigga had a full army thing on and zip ties. And what was wild about zip tie guy, he actually went there with his mom. That's kind of wild. A mother and son.
It's not that wild.
Trip.
It's not that wild when you think about Kyle Rittenhouse. His mom took him to go kill people.
That is true.
Ooh.
That is true. But
that's not that wild anymore.
The federal government basically said they can be released because they are no longer a threat.
Till August.
Until August, until Trump come back into office.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Right, Trump's coming back into office, and if Trump came back to office, and part of me.
WWE, man.
We were talking about this in Treble was saying, like, part of you wants to see the chaos. I mean, I don't want to
see what happens.
It would be so. Could you imagine if Trump came back in the office, like the amount of shit he would be talking? Like, oh my god. But yeah,
he gonna come in like Vince McMahon. He gonna say all kinds of wild shit.
Mr. Pillow guy apparently believes that Trump is going to.
Who is Mr. Pillow?
And it's My Pillow. I'm sorry. He has a company called My Pillow that basically he basically threw his whole company out the window.
What happened? I missed all of this.
For white supremacy and racism, because he was riding for Trump so much that like nobody goes to I guess maybe the MAGA people go to mypillow.com, but he didn't care.
Is it like they actually sell pillows?
He sells pillows.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like
he sells pillows and white supremacy, maybe sheets now too.
Sheets and white supremacy go hand in hand.
All things white.
My sheets.
You know what I'm saying?
That nigga starts mysheets.com. I want my piece of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I want my percentage. Is that being a capitalist miracle?
Them KKK coochies.
Keep on. I'm gonna slide at the end like y'all need to come for this theory next. Keep playing.
Man, you know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, it's been. I don't know if y'all want to talk about that. Sharon Osbourne. I guess she let. Oh,
this nigga look like a white supremacist. That's the poster child for white supremacy right there. He got the big Hitler mustache. He got the big Hitler. Put him back up. Look at that comb over. That's the worst toupee I've ever seen. It's like my nigga.
He's being sued for billions of dollars.
The 3X wrinkle button down. Come on, bro. Like,
I can tell you what he looks like. He looks like if he were the substitute teacher in my AP class, he would have threw me out when those white kids were being too loud.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. So yeah. It's almost like you want to. What?
He looked like he touched children.
Oh my god!
I was trying to stay away from that one.
Yes.
Oh my god! I wanted to say.
Please, Miracle, bring us back.
I feel like the Trump administration ran like a mafia because now we know this guy had like millions of dollars in federal lawsuits. Representative Matt Gaetz was apparently taking a minor across the country for a relationship. We know, stop. We know
he
all
looks
these
just
people,
like Butthead.
We know Lil Wayne had all of this,
right? He had guns, federal stuff.
I feel like I feel like Trump used the FBI to like nab and grab folks and was like, "You ride with me, I'll ride with you," and like, come on,
the biggest
and that's
gangster.
just like what he did. He literally was like, was like an OG, like, I got you if you got me, and that's what we're starting to see. So like, I think that there is a vested interest that people do have in bringing Trump back, because a lot of folks are about to get sued, go to jail, all types of stuff,
including maybe Trump.
That's so sad.
Yeah, my pillow guy is being sued for billions of dollars by these voting machine companies. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what was wild, we didn't even talk about it when the Trump's lawyer. Did y'all see that? Like when the voting machine company sued Trump's lawyer, she basically came out and said, "Oh, y'all believe that?" Oh man, she said no rational person would have believed what I was saying was the truth. That's her defense.
What if Fox News? They said we're not news. Why?
They did it. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was found legally unable to be prosecuted because his show is not news. It's satire.
No, it's opinion. But what I think is, if the state is smart and they want to prosecute these cases, what they're going to say is, this is a pattern of practice that these white supremacists do. They put out information as news, and then when they get in trouble, they try to say, "Oh, nobody's going to believe this," when in reality, we got hundreds of people storming the Capitol, most of them from Pennsylvania, right? I really think that these people in my neighborhood that I'm at were actually up there, and so I really be trying to be like really, really nice, because they be having their flags and their military gear, and I don't want them coming over here, but I swear that they're probably up there. But anyhow, like, I think that they should do that, because at the end of the day, we're gonna keep having this fascism attack us, and then nobody's gonna be able to hold responsible, because it's like, oh, you shouldn't believe that, like, you know, there was a person with a space laser controlling the weather and hacking voting machines.
Right. Well, I mean, and I think, you know, zip tie dude, I guess basically said, "Oh, I was picking up zip ties. Like, those were zip ties that I saw." So I mean, that, you know, it's like, but it'd be like white people can get away with that type of stuff. Black, as you know, black and brown folk, we get under the jail, we get mass incarcerated. The slightest little bit of mess up, we mass incarcerated, and white folk can storm the Capitol with zip ties, do all type of bullshit, and then it's like,
officer, I was just getting this weed off the streets.
Hey man, hey,
that's not mine. I was holding somebody.
I saw some weed on the ground. There were little kids around. I was afraid one of them might have picked it up and smoked it. So I picked it up and just put it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but it don't work. You know, like Paul Mooney said, the complexion for the protection. You know what I'm saying? And it don't work. You know what I mean?
I remember when Obama was running his first term, and white people thought he was going to bring slavery back, and they thought he was going to, like, you know, make the White House ghetto and everything like that. But like, Trump literally thugged the White House the fuck out. Like, convicts were on his cabinet, my nigga. Yes. Convicts.
Mad people indicted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, niggas with long rap sheets were in the White House making, and they was upset when Jay-Z came in there.
No. They was upset when Common came in.
When Common came, bro.
Like, I don't want to call Common soft, but just, you know, like his image. You know what I'm saying? Common is like
you gotta go
acceptable.
Back to Chicago.
No, that's why I said I don't want to call him soft, but he's looked at as the acceptable rapper. Right. He's always
we're gonna have beef with so many people after this airs.
No, come on, man. Me and Common good. You know, me and Common good. Yeah,
but like,
no, I mean, that's how. But they was mad at Common.
They was mad at Common.
They don't have a gangster rapper.
Common and a gangster rapper. Come on.
And you had the most gangster niggas ever in the White House, and Trump literally, Trump thugged out, man. Trump shitted on the FBI. Trump shitted on the CIA. Trump was like, "Yo, I'm cool with Russia, my nigga. I got long money. You're not doing nothing to me."
So does no, you're right. So a question for Miracle: does Bagel Karen having a black baby dad, does that, like, you know, because a lot of times it be that I'm not racist, the father of my children or the mother of my children is this color.
She can't be racist, clearly, bro. She has black
children.
It just cancels out.
For those that don't know, Bagel Karen went into a bagel shop in New York, and she's white with her, you know, biracial children, and called the black man at the counter a bitch ass nigga, which makes me wonder what she was saying to her baby daddy. I don't know. Maybe, you know, because some
probably
people
says it during sex.
And he probably let her too. That's why we try to say you could always tell, but y'all say I'm a mean, bitter black woman. But I'm like, y'all have no standards, and y'all be getting with these people that don't value your blackness. You can pull up the video, be a trigger warning.
If you want to pull up the video, if you missed, Bagel Karen at the bagel shop. But I mean, I know you're real. It's like, and sometimes like and that's that weakest link thing. You're going to give this white person a pass, and then the white person you gave a pass now go out into the world.
I haven't seen this video yet, so I want to see this.
I just want to say that this is
John?
Not to be controversial, but this is also why we talk about why skin folk ain't kin folk, and why we also talk about like who raised you. Did you have black parents? It's not because we're trying to be exclusive or gatekeeping, but if you are raised by a racist white parent as a black person, your worldview and politics is going to be a little bit different. And why we jokingly say you can always tell. In this situation, it's just like, how could you just spew that out in front of you? And her kids didn't flinch. Nobody reacted. It was just like, she must be saying this
mom being
alive.
mom. Yeah. She be saying all the rap lyrics. She don't be censoring none of them. She be saying every single rap lyric.
All she gotta do is put on a bikini, and like half of y'all's friends would be like, oh my gosh, she can say it anyways.
No.
So,
Is she attractive?
Let's be honest. She's
I
like,
don't know.
Yeah, did I guess?
We'll take you like that. How do you see how I'm looking at you?
Excuse me, can I just serve? If you don't want to serve her, let you go. If you want to serve her, serve her. If not, let you go.
Take her out.
Okay, so, hello, ma'am. He's not going to serve it, so please leave.
Why? Majestic.
Hello, now you need to go.
That's what he is.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
She put the strong R on it.
Let me call it up because this might have been
I think that's enough. I think we.
that's why we gotta pay.
The baby start crying.
I mean, the baby probably, like that's what I'm saying. Do you talk to your children that way? I mean, but she probably does. That's the wild part, and she probably don't see anything wrong with it. But yeah, she put the R. She put the hard R. Bitch ass nigger. Like she put the R in it. You know what I'm saying?
Why you got the glasses like that?
That's how you looking at her, baby daddy.
That's how you looking
at that nigger.
They need to stop paying these black cards, bro. Like they don't exist. Stop handing them out, bro.
Man, bro. If I wouldn't have been working for One Hood no more if I'd have been in that space. Tell you that right now. I'd had to resign publicly.
Resign mid punch.
Yeah.
But also
would have had to activate her throat chakra real quick. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, I went to 3 different high schools, right? And I graduated from an all-white high school after going to an all-black high school. And I went to high school with white women like that. And that were just like so entitled to that word, because just because you suck black dick, that does not give you entitlement to say the N-word. And that's it. And if you want to say it, please have a strong dental plan or at least some self-defense classes. And you can't be upset when those consequences come at you. So I'm saying, nigga and knuckle both start with the same word, but they don't make, they both have the same sound. They don't start with the same letter.
So apparently they have 4 children, and she won the custody battle, and he's trying to get the children back. I don't know. So he basically said he don't let no one use that language around him. He's trying to be like, and I don't know if this was just because it's public. He was like, I don't let my children use that language. No one use that language. So I don't know, but yeah. Oh, she would have got a ketchup packet to the back of
the neck. Man, listen. She caught the ketchup packet. I'd have hit her with the butter condiments, bro. I'd have pepper sprayed her.
We gotta check on Woogie. This is the second week in a row he hasn't been here. We do. We gotta make sure Woogie's all right. So we actually went a little bit over. We're at 7:00. Do we want to get into the white pages and the call to action?
Man,
We definitely
can't
want to
read.
shout out, both Tamia and Celeste are being honored tonight at the Black House Collective. Shout out to both of them. That's what Tamia is not in the chat. Sisters, what is it? Sisters pulling while we climb.
Sisters.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to them. Shout out to Shanae and that organization that are honoring these Black women tonight on the last day of Women's History Month. And shout out to Celeste and Tamia and all the other people that are getting honored. We appreciate y'all. Our book, because it is the last day of Women's History Month, this is Dr. Carrie Yazzie, Shut Them Down, Black Women, Racism in Corporate America. Something for you to read, to understand.
Remember Shut Them Down by Onyx and Big Pun and DMX? That was my shit.
That was a good song.
Yeah,
very good song.
Yes, that was good. I mean, Public Enemy did a Shut Them Down. You know what I'm saying? That was good too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our call to action. Does anybody have a link? I couldn't find the link as we were going, but I know it's a Mill Train link. Just asking folks. We have a member of our community, a family, Brother Minicat, Sister Iasia, that need our community support. We're asking folks to put their community support behind them. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody recommended Nelly Fuller Jr. Books by them. That's actually good. Do we want to answer this dude's question? They want to answer this question?
What question?
My man, I got to go up. He asked us, do you guys think the U.S. government should pay Iraqis for all the killing and destruction they have done? Can we get our payment? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
can we get ours?
the West owes reparations to the whole entire world. Yes.
100%. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, and us. I don't. Is it wrong to say us first?
Because we here.
I mean, we built the country. You know what I'm saying?
What did Nas say? How can the president fix other countries when he ain't fixed home yet?
But you said that you would turn down the reparations in Evanston, my brother.
Yeah, I don't want you're not gonna give
25,000 ain't enough.
$25,000. Nah, because reparations.
That's only 4 pairs of shoes.
I mean, my sneaker top left, my sneaker closet is worth more than $25,000 if we're keeping it all the way above. But no, reparations it is. But reparations is currently valued.
He joking, y'all. He joking.
No, I'm not.
I'm trying to get you wrong.
She trying not to have somebody run up in your crib and take all your shoes, brother.
Ain't nobody moving like that. They ain't moving like that. But listen, reparations, for anybody who's curious, because I was curious, I looked this up. Reparations is currently valued at the consistent inflation rate of $330,000 roundabout, right? If you factor in all of that's super low. I've been saying that. Even if it's untaxed, that's still extremely low per Black person.
You're gonna get half of that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you mean to tell me
you can't even? What can you live like maybe a year on that?
The $330,000. Yeah, like $330,000 is.
But taxes is gonna take half of that. So you at like 150. You know what I'm saying?
Kahari and I used to have this conversation about reparations. If you're not gonna give it to us and you're gonna continuously treat us like second-class citizens anyway, we just don't pay taxes no more. If that's what it's gonna be, then we just don't pay taxes.
Yeah, and I think people have proposed that reparations should actually be Black people not paying no taxes. And real rap, Nicola, the U.S. is still killing Black folk. You know what I'm saying? So we all got beef definitely with the U.S. foreign policy and the U.S. domestic policy. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. You know what I'm saying? Did y'all any of y'all run up on Biden and get y'all stimmy check while he came to Pittsburgh?
I had my homies do it.
I mean, he's talking about his infrastructure plan.
Yeah, he came to Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying?
When was this? I don't even know.
Maybe we should stop bombing.
Was it today? I think it was today, right?
Yeah, that was today.
Yeah, he came through today. Yeah.
Would you say money?
Would you say Miracle?
Yeah, we should stop bombing countries and use that money to create roads that don't have potholes. Absolutely. Or bridges that don't catch fire.
Yeah,
houses that don't fall apart.
Exactly. We shouldn't be in none of these countries. You know what I'm saying? Leave these countries alone. We shouldn't be in none of them. You know what I'm saying? What would you? Yeah, bro. I mean, if you need money, sell one of them pairs of shoes, nigga. All right. So anyway.
I mean, I actually been selling some sneakers, but nah. I mean,
can you imagine if we go out hanging out with Farouk and then somebody try to rob him while we with him because they want his $25,000 sneaker collection, and then we gotta be collateral. And we
now
got
we got to fight over some sneakers. Now we got to fight because this nigga got the new Jordans on. Capitalism. See what it does, Miracle? See what capitalism does? Are we, hey, Farouk, are we frontline or are we trying to be celebrity activists? Boy, you better wear them regular shoes out to the protest, brother.
Nigga,
wear them regular shoes.
I wore a pair of sneakers so much to the protest that the bottoms fell out. That's how much we walked this summer.
You did.
Miracle was there.
You did at a bottom.
And then you know what he was. First of all, he could have just called an Uber to get to where he was going, but decided to walk. I was like, "This is not slavery, my brother. You don't have to walk barefoot on the sidewalk."
I mean, but that's that's the problem. That's because them shoes is made in these countries, and they exploit these countries, these black and brown folk. You know what I'm saying?
Nike just came under fire for that. We can talk about it. We can talk about it. You know what I mean?
Extreme, call me by your name, Lil Nas X.
Yeah, let that boy live. But yeah, I don't know. I think
there wasn't even Nike shoes. None of y'all could even afford them shoes to be acting the way
they sold out in minutes. They sold out in minutes. And then we didn't even get into the Nike white kid that was like had his mom getting them all the newest, latest Nikes, and he had his business on the side. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, I'll turn this color. We still talking about that shit, bro.
There'd be a lot of white supremacy. Yeah, we don't even be getting.
They had no problem with Jesus' shoes.
They didn't.
I said that holy water. I'm gonna be honest. I think the problem was Miracle.
The blood.
The blood. That was people. People was like, hold up, human blood in every shoe. If it was just everything else without the human blood, people would have let that ride. That human blood stuff. People was just like, come on.
With fast fashion, people die all the time, so there's blood in all of our shoes.
Come on, and all of our clothing.
I ain't got a damn bloody shoes.
100. I don't think that's what she meant.
At least they were honest. Right?
Hey, listen, Cardi is ahead of the curve. We can go chat shit about Cardi. I won't tolerate that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a lot. And I would say this. Think about this for those that are, because somebody just put, imagine kids watching the Lil Nas X video. Kids just had to testify in Minneapolis because they watched a man die right in front of them by the hands of the police. Believe me, like kids in this country see stuff every day, violence, you know what I'm saying? The poverty that folks go through. And if we're not willing, in Pittsburgh where we are, 1/3 of black children live in poverty right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now. If we're not willing to do something about that, come on, man. Bro,
listen, Tutus. I watched the video of Miracle. I'm like, yo, this video is not even that bad. Like, it's really not that bad. It's all it is. It is the retelling of Genesis with a gay black kid, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. Maybe because I'm not Christian, but like,
the twins did the same video and nobody cared.
And nobody cared.
Why do y'all keep putting me in stuff? It seems like Miracle taught me about Kevin. Miracle, why I gotta be put in stuff?
Kevin Samuel said, "Hey, Miracle." This is what Kevin Samuel said. I know the show's over. Kevin Samuel was talking to a woman, and the woman said, "What about my knees?" And this man said, A woman's orgasm is not necessary for procreation. And I about jumped out the window. I was like,
that is true. I mean, those are facts. It's a fact.
What?
It's a fact. It's a fact. He's not wrong.
That is necessary to keep in a relationship. Because if what you won't do, somebody else will.
Come on.
Okay.
Well, I just was like, yo, Kevin
Samuels is a wild boy. That's a wild boy.
Yeah, that's a wild dude. I said, this dude.
I'm not hip. I don't think I'm gonna get hip.
Yeah, don't get hip, Joe. Don't get hip. So anyway, we're over. I don't know. Did y'all want to still talk about some other stuff? I don't know.
We got stuff to talk about.
We got
Sharon Osbourne leaving. Sharon Osbourne leaving the talk. I don't know. Oh, you said you leaving, Farouk?
But yo, I mean, the thing, I bet you, here's what I think happened. Her and Piers are gonna go like the Bill O'Reilly route. Bill O'Reilly still has his niche network, right? He still goes from his bedroom or whatever it is in his button-up shirt, his lazy eye, and he talks whatever he talks about.
Yeah, Glenn Beck got his little channel.
Yeah, Glenn Beck got Sean Hannity got his shit. I bet you Piers and Sharon, because
that
listen,
would be amazing.
they're both gonna be, on their type of time. You get me?
They're
Like,
the white supremacy wonder twins. Like they're the
Sorry. No, what we're not gonna do is that.
They really are, man. And that's the thing. They're gonna have their eel pies. Like, yo, listen, they're gonna have the eel pies and they're gonna have the fish and chips and all of that. You get me? But like, yo, and it's gonna be a terrible
no
fucking
seasonings
show.
are gonna be allowed in the studio. Like no seasonings.
Nothing, man. It's gonna be some of the blandest food ever. Ozzy Osbourne probably gonna come on and eat a bat or something. Some wild shit.
You're not with that, Piers and Sharon coming together?
That your memories aren't too long, because the reason we have Sirius XM is because of Don Imus, right?
Because of Don Imus saying nappy head hoes. Niggas don't even remember that shit.
This idea that white supremacy isn't productive and capitalistic. Why do we even have this show? Like, why are y'all surprised?
Yeah. And then she got $10 million. I mean,
that white man. Yeah. Yes, that white man that said the N-word, what's his name, Morgan, whatever, he just broke the record of having the number one album because people have been playing him all the time because he said the N-word. Like racism, white supremacy.
Racism sells.
Let me say this. This is what he should do. At his next, the concert that opens up after the pandemic, he should be like, "What up, man, nigga?"
No. Yo, I mean, you might as well look. I'm gonna tell you this.
He'll get 17 billion views on YouTube.
But you know
right
what?
now.
I would rather you, and this is the thing. I would rather you just be honest. Like, just be authentically racist. Like, don't try to be performative for me. If you say that, you know what I'm saying? If that's how you feel, just be honest. Hey, yo, I say nigga. I like to say it. I'm not black. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. Just be honest. Just be real. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be the thing.
Papa John's should do bagels. They should do bitch nigga bagels.
Oh, not the bitch nigga bagels.
Bitch ass nigga bagels.
I hate y'all.
We got
real ingredients, real niggas, man. Real ingredients, real.
I think on that note, we probably should close out on bitch ass nigga bagels.
I can't wait for Celeste to watch this. Y'all gonna be in so much trouble.
We'll just tell her we stopped at 7:00. So that being said, that's hilarious. Tomorrow on Tilt, turn into On Tilt at 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jules and Mama Brown for On Tilt. I think that's it for the rest of the week. Do we got anything else? Is there anything else?
Check on Monday.
Vibe check on Monday. I guess you know it's Easter Sunday. I don't know if anybody's, if you're getting, hopefully don't go nowhere. I know we're still in COVID. I know folks is getting vaccinated. Please don't turn up. Just don't go nowhere. We don't want to have the fourth wave that they were talking about. So be careful, be safe.
First of all, people got Easter egg hunts already planned.
Oh,
we about to go on this lockdown. And it's gonna be a mess. Y'all, listen, if you are going to go out this weekend, just look cute. Like if you're gonna go and get COVID, make it worth it because don't be
colorful COVID.
Pastel
pandemic.
Oh shit!
Yes, the pastels of the pandemic because people are out here. These churches are open, and not to say I'm anti-religious, even though I am, but like all these folks, they're not even doing car rallies. They're just like come out, little kids out here that's nasty with no mask on. Just
we said Klan rallies?
No.
Car rallies.
Cars.
Cars.
I mean, wear your mask, but I don't know. Our church, I guess everything's open by now, but be careful. Hey, I did want to ask y'all. So, do you, Farouk did send me the article. This is This Week in White Supremacy, where Mayor Peduto apologized for his language around protests.
We're not about to do this today. We're not about to do this today.
I mean, I would say, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm happy he apologized. I'm happy he said something. You know what I'm saying? I wish you
invite him to the show. You should invite him to the show for next week.
We have invited him on.
He could have said it if he would have just said it right afterwards. Like, hey, yo, if he would have just said, yo, I shouldn't have used that language, my fault. Like, we would have just kept it moving. I don't know why it took so long, but I do appreciate him saying, like, yo, I shouldn't have used that language. Like, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never try to call.
White people always sorry after the fact.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least
It is
it's
a lot,
growth, right? At least
Are y'all
growth.
gonna have the mayor of Braddock on y'all show?
Which one?
The mayor of Braddock on Power Hour, Miracle?
We've had just a couple of mayors come through.
Okay.
We have some people planned.
Okay.
Stay
I don't want to
tuned.
get too political, but yeah.
Miracle, hold up, Miracle.
What's
Give
poppin'?
me some face real quick, because I'm getting heavy auntie vibes from you real quick. Like,
You know,
yo.
I am queen auntie vibes. I'm really
Yeah, like
stuff open up because I'm traveling. I'm like,
vote, yo, Miracle, vote on these hoes real quick.
you know, like what's poppin'? Let me not start. Let me come down. But we have a
Miracle.
we'll have
baby.
We'll have Fetterman back on in a few weeks.
Okay,
Invite
cool.
we got folks coming through. We are going to have
Can
a
I
mayoral
come? Can I
forum.
come and ask Fetterman some questions?
I mean, if you want, let me say, we are trying to have a dialogue. We're not trying to be Fox News. We're not trying to go viral.
Got you. We're not trying to not trying to be with the gotcha questions.
You should jog to that meeting.
The show.
No, we'll have real conversations, but we're not trying to do like the back and forth.
No, and I was asking. I mean,
it's jogging weather. It's jogging weather.
I can't deal with y'all.
The current mayor of Braddock actually endorsed Malcolm Kenyatta, and basically said she's never had a conversation with Fetterman, never, and I thought was really, really interesting. So I just, I'm gonna tune in for the dialogue. I'm not going to join, but I am curious as to like if he's going to pivot. Similar, like I said, like I'll give Mayor Peduto credit for at least acknowledging that what he said was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they shouldn't have said that. I haven't seen his new commercial. I guess he released a commercial that talked about the two Pittsburghs and we got to do better. At least
he ain't have nothing. He ain't have nothing for Ed Gainey when Ed got in his ass at Westinghouse High School. Ed got real homewood.
He talked back. I mean, Ed was home field. And Ed was like,
Ed the way Ed thug.
He's a passionate dude. So yeah, go ahead, Miracle.
Also, this is an election year. Demand everything from these candidates.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Demand everything. I like that.
Be out painting Black Lives Matter himself on the street.
Yeah.
But
and then this is the time to demand it and demand, Ed Gainey, all the candidates. We want to demand, our rights for all of them. But you are going to ask a question, Miracle?
Yes, I was going to say, keep those. I was just going to say, what were you doing and what would you be doing if you weren't running for office right now? If it wasn't an election year, how would you be showing up and how have you shown up?
That's a great question.
So that's what people need to be reminded of. But again,
ordering Papa John's pizza.
People can change, right? And pressure works, bullying works, protesting works.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, we're seeing it.
If people are going to make changes, I welcome Purdue to make changes. I welcome, county council to get paid leave. I don't.
Yeah.
Why do we have to kneel for people here? Why do we have to follow the
Well, I think
Black people? I
think one of the things, and I know we keep saying we close, but I think one of the things that is coming out of this are people are getting more politically intelligent. You know what I'm saying? And we're seeing we're paying attention to political issues more than we ever have, in terms of like what's city council doing, what are the legislations coming up, what is the mayor doing, what is county council doing, what are these judges doing? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good thing. That's even the fact that we have Breonna's Law on the ballot, like we can actually go to the ballot and vote to end no-knock warrants, vote to end solitary confinement. And so that is one of the dope things that have come out of the protest. And if this stuff starts popping off, just think about this. If we get a not guilty verdict in the George Floyd, in the Derek Chauvin trial, look, I'm messing up. And people start taking to the streets, best believe that energy is going to go right to, you know what I'm saying? Who's elected? What judges is going to be in these seats? Who's going to be in these seats? You know what I'm saying? And so it's best to get out, ahead of time. And so it will be interesting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to, Fetterman sitting down and talking with you all. I'm looking forward to a dialogue. And like I said, I would love to have a dialogue with, Peduto, Gainey, all of them, Really, you know what I'm saying? I know a school board forum is coming. That's going to be really interesting. So I am happy that people are getting more like politically educated. And shout out to City Paper who did that interview. Who did that interview, right? I do feel like a pastor. I keep saying we're gonna close. We about to pass the collection plate.
Still on the first close.
Shout out to City Paper who did that long interview with Mayor Peduto. It was really detailed. I encourage people to read it. I encourage people to find out what positions all of these politicians have, and and vote in your best interest. You know what I mean? Anything else?
Real quick? I just want to say something real fast.
Yes.
I don't mind Peduto's beard. I think it make him look rather dignified.
That was so random.
I think it look nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it look nice. Welcome to the club, bro. Like, top left. When I turn into a silver fox, it's over for these niggas. Good night.
Why would twin always be embarrassing me in public?
Oh, shout out to Cornell. Shout out to Dr. Cornell West, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So I guess with that, we will see y'all next week. Maybe we'll go overtime a little bit next week. I like the little flow where we just was talking about whatever that was going on. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to say one more thing because we're talking about elections. In Allegheny County, the Board of Elections still hasn't had a meeting. They're not even going to have a meeting until like 2 weeks before May 18th. So if you want drop boxes, if you liked how you were able to do early vote, you need to be calling the Board of Elections. You need to be calling Rich Fitzgerald, who just makes my life so difficult. If you just call him and tell him to call a meeting so we can figure out how we can run this election. Like we don't even know.
Rich Fitzgerald ain't got time for none of y'all niggas. Rich Fitzgerald ain't got time for that. He ain't going to no meetings. He ain't even showing up on Zoom. He ain't got time. He like, look, I can't get it reelected anyway. I'm chilling. He is chilling for real. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, his ambivalence, like we could all learn something from that.
Maybe it's self-care. Maybe like it's just a form of self-care.
The level of I don't give a fuck he exudes.
Yeah, he don't.
You gotta commit because he's consistent. He's consistent.
He is consistent. He don't give a damn. Shout out to all those people that are organizing in the city of Pittsburgh to make it a better place. We appreciate you, and all over the world, we appreciate you. We love you. One day we're going to have one big table, and Miracle is going to lead us into some exercises to make us come together in more of a unified spirit. You know what I'm saying? Until next time. You got something else, Miracle?
I'm too busy.
Hey, Miracle. What's the call?
What call?
Good night.
Free them all, Miracle. Free them all.
Brick by brick.
Free them all, Miracle.
Y'all gonna roll that back. We did not practice beforehand. I know what's the call. There's a whole bunch of stuff we were talking about, so I know which thing we were talking about. Free them all
does not mean the families that were arrested at the Capitol riots. We want them in jail. All of them. All of them. We don't want that. Is not. Don't free them all. Does not go to them. Yes,
free Maroon, free Asada, bring her back home. Hands off Asada.
I don't know if Asada want to come back home. I think Asada good.
Asada probably she's wherever she is. She probably maskless and enjoying life while we over here suffering.
That's a fact.
Be careful. Still wear your mask, social distance. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, y'all. This week in White Supremacy. We out.
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy